Welcome to the Dance to Heal podcast. I'm your host, Jenny C. Cohen. Join me as I share stories of how life is a dance. I'm a cancer survivor, mother of two, and an award-winning performer who found that mind and body connected movement is vital to healing in a way that is safe and tailored to your life. I created Dance to Heal Wellness featuring the Spotlight Confidence Formula and also authored the best-selling award-winning book, Outside In Recovery, Dancing My Way Back to Myself After Breast Cancer. I will bring new ways to help you on your dance journey and healing path. Are you ready to move? Dance to Heal starts now.
Oh my God, they were. The story turned. It was like there was something charming and funny, and then it's also very dark
Yeah.
and
Isn't that life?
yeah. I mean, I think these things are so hard to really think through, right? Because you need to approach it with appropriate severity
Yep.
and approach appropriate compassion. And I read The Gift of Fear recently. Have you read this book?
No.
Um, it's Gavin de Becker, and he is quite famous for helping celebrities to evaluate the risk of stalkers and things
Yes.
like that. Um, a really interesting book around like how we can generally trust our fear to signal at the right times, but that we do need to feed it the right information. That we need to correct misinformation so that our brains have the right background information for pattern recognition. And so when you're a child, like not knowing that there's a place you could drown or the risk of this, like it's for the pattern recognition of the brain, you need to bring these things into the brain at some point so that the fear engine operates appropriately, and it's not compassionate or helpful to shield people from that information, the dangers or the possibilities. Um, but to some extent, like that needs to come in at the right time in the right place so that it can be evaluated within the wisdom we have. I'm thinking of that.
Oh, that's phenomenal. Yeah. I already had a background of occupational therapy, and when I think back, then because there were I had fraternal twins and no children before, so I was going by gut instinct of what to do, and I think nothing else would have worked with my kids, especially my son, who is a risk taker all the time. And if you would believe it, my daughter, who mastermind the whole thing, was never the risk taker. So just really interesting between the two of them. I mean, to this day, it's one of their favorite stories to tell about how I mothered. I'm like, great. They think I'm a psychopath. It's fine. But I don't care
It's a
because
good
it was,
story.
well, when my kids transitioned from binary identities and went in a different direction, my only response was, well, what do you want me to call you? What are your pronouns? Done. There was never any, well, what do you mean you're this? There was no question because I knew there was already very hard for them to trust me to speak of a Devin. Okay. And I've had friends whose children actually passed away, for other reasons. And, it's illnesses or they unalive themselves. And I was just grateful they wanted to be around enough to tell me they were going through a transition. Right. So it's always been more, how do I keep these two beings alive? Because I'm responsible for them. But I like this thing because they're at an age I'm like, can you dom yourself? It's not my job anymore. Like, do it yourself. Devin said so.
I like this so much. I sometimes with clients, I have them put like a piece of paper somewhere that says like, "What would I do today if I loved myself?" Um, which is kind of effective, but also like kind of harsh. But I kind of like this. Did you dom yourself? So there's just an air of humor to the whole thing.
Yeah, what would you do for yourself today if you loved yourself? That that's a good one. That one I think everyone should have that tattoo backwards on their forehead so they see that in the mirror.
It's a hard question too, and often the answer is like, so often we think of love as just tender, right? But the journey of compassion and self-love is like often called reparenting because it's like becoming the parent you had wished you had. And none of our parents are like know us so well that they can be so attuned that they're gonna be exactly that. But like sometimes we're like, what would I do if I loved myself? We're like, yeah, I would kick my butt into gear. I'd be like, go for a walk. Don't eat potato chips. You will have a stomach ache. Maybe don't give yourself a stomach ache. I love you. I don't wish that for you.
Yes, yes, yes. Or even for me, because let's see, I don't know if when we had our conversation before you went to Bali, I did an energy work where I had to stop flying everybody else's plane and fly my own plane type of thing,
Mm,
the scenario, right? Because I'm really good at ignoring my own needs. That was a survival technique because I had to make sure everybody was happy before anyone else. And it was really interesting that I, in audience members, I want you to think about this for yourself. Is it easier for you to be nice to other people than yourself? And that's the yes, then you need to stop immediately and be like, I need to dom myself from this point forward. Because really, if you think about it, our bodies and ourselves, like your entity of who you are is the only thing that's been with you since the day you were born, even before. Nothing else has been with you since. It's imperative that you take stock of what you need. Imperative. Because there's no other, like I was going through this awakening of an understanding in 2020 when we started having the lockdown, which I call the panini, because people are disagreeing about whether or not COVID's over. So I'm like, it's fine. I have a immunocompromised family, so we take precautions. And I remember I went on this odyssey of trying to find answers outside of myself, and I would get these really amazing mentors, but they wouldn't understand what I wanted to do. And then I realized years later they just didn't understand. They were not my ideal customers, so they couldn't get it. And I was on the forefront of this whole movement of using dance as a therapeutic tool outside of being a dance therapist, like for people to use that. And I also wasn't ready for the work had to be done now, so I had to do some changes. And it was meant to be they didn't understand, but I was also too much seeking answers outside of me. If I just listened to myself, right? So that was like a retrospective. Oh, that was a lesson you missed. But now I'm listening to myself, and it's been very different. It's been very interesting, Devin.
um, I mean, before we got to the Dom, I was telling you that like my one of my mantras this year is when I like am looking for a savior or someone to come in and like take my grief, just to tell myself no one's coming. Um, it's just like a hard truth, but it is I think that is doming myself to like ca catch myself in the fantasy. But it's so easy to think the the thing we want will come externally. And then we could avoid looking at ourselves forever or doming ourselves or parenting ourselves. But it's such a hard journey to like just sit with ourselves and realize, oh, I'm accountable to me. I need to take care of me. And you know, I work with quite a few people with like chronic illness because chronic illness often comes after a lifetime of repression or suppression. And then the body's like, I need you to take care of me. Like now, today. Um, but it's such a foreign journey, especially for people who internalize the thing that I'm the caretaker, I'm the savior, I'm helping and healing other people. And okay, I'm rambling. Sorry.
No, you're not. I think you're onto something. It is so much easier to hide into fulfilling other people's needs because, from what I understand about a dom, they're actually watching the person they're dominating very closely the entire time. They're not disassociating. They're actually actively there in the moment. And I
Yes.
think we're just asking you, audience, to think about how often are you really there in the moment for yourself?
Yes.
Very rare. Because that's my whole platform about being present through different things, and I struggle with being present all the time. You know, it's very hard to be in your body because then you're actually understanding how much you've ignored yourself.
And how much pain you're in and how much fear you have. And, I was just on the phone with a friend this morning and she was like, why can't I just seem to like take the sleep? And I was like, oh my gosh, you have like bottled tears of shame now. And there's the Band-Aid is feeling so big to rip. It's that moldy Tupperware in the back of the fridge that you can't open. And I think you understand that you can't look at the amount of shame that it has like layered and stacked and molded until you feel good. Like, you need to feel a lot better than you feel today to look at that shame because that's too much to hold.
Yes.
Go
Yes.
on a hike. love yourself, give yourself all the pleasure in the world that you could possibly want, give yourself all the resources, and then hold that inner pain.
It's really true. Because you had defined it as a form of play. I remember there was this dance person. I miss her so much. She passed away from brain cancer. But before she was diagnosed and going through treatment, I had done a workshop of hers. And I remember getting really mad during the workshop because she was so good at performance. We were, she was having us explore architects and roles, but she wanted us to play animals, and I got really mad because I don't play like back then. I was like, "What do you mean play? Like I'm a grown up. Grown ups don't play. Like you think I'm play? I don't want to be an animal. I paid you $75 and drove 45 minutes to come to this point. You want me to play? I can play at home, which wouldn't happen. I'm very good at setting up play for other people. I never played because I never played as a child. I didn't realize that play is something you're supposed to do. Like it's not supposed to. It's your birthright, and no matter your age. And I love that reminder to feel good before you tackle the yucky stuff sometimes because you have to have something to fall back on.
Yeah, and you can harm yourself further if you go into the yucky stuff without being resourced appropriately to go into it. Because it's the nature of exposure work. But this time you're going to face something that in the past you couldn't face, but you're going to be able to handle it better this time because you've equipped yourself better. Um, but if you want to like prove to yourself that you can't handle something, you go back in the same mindset, in the same inadequate nourishment, and you'll find again it was too much to tolerate, and then that will reinforce instead the kind of underpinning belief that it's unsafe to do something or unwelcome to do something.
That's phenomenal. So, audience members, you're going to be able to find Devin at findyourmeaning.coach, FINDYOURMEANIN dot COACH, NING, sorry, meaning dot COACH, where you can get in touch with him because I think it's really important for you to know that even though Devin may not stay based out in New York for a while, you can still find him, right? Because you're going to go into the online space much more.
Yes. So right now my work is mixed hands-on, hands-off. But a lot of my work is hands-on, clients on a massage table. And we were talking about it before. I'm likely going to move to Southeast Asia because I need to recuperate some energy. And so I'm going to be shifting a lot of my work into education and distance healing for a while, but also writing and recording meditation. So stay in contact with me. Business is changing. I'm wondering if instead of having like a stable base for body work, maybe I do tours and end up in different cities doing intensive body work, psychology sessions. I don't know. There's so much coming, but if you go to my website, you scroll down, I have a newsletter. It's a good way to stay in touch.
Perfect. So make sure you go to findyourmeaning.coach so you can stay in touch with Devin. I for sure will be logging in, even though he's going to get messages from me, accountability texts, because I'm going to be joyfully, gleefully texting him, "Did you dom yourself?" And he's going to
Yes.
text that back to me because, accountability is really fun when it's around, this play aspect, I think. I mean, what came to mind this morning? I was at a mastermind meeting and somebody interjected in the middle of me asking me for help and decided that she was going to make herself the accountability partner for me to make 3 sales that week. And I was kind of like, no, because now you just put so much pressure on me, I probably won't make sales for a month. Because I didn't ask for those rules. Like, if I think about it, she's trying to dom me. I was like, no. Like, did I even ask for you? Like, to speak? I was talking.
You didn't have the parameters of play set up yet. She had not gotten your consent to be bossy like that.
Yeah, yeah. So I love this permission to empower yourself because the whole idea of dom is that there's power available.
Hmm.
You have that power. We all have that power to have that type of ability to oversee our own safety and our own joy and our own play.
There's also safety in if you dom yourself, you also sub yourself, right? And we all need that moment of, I am not making decisions, I am not doing this. So if you activate your Dom brain, you get to like make the list, and then your sub gets to resent your Dom side, but you're doing the thing that you thought would be good for you. You're not stressing all day about making the decision to do it. You're just begrudging your morning self who had a coffee and a planner.
I love this. All right. All right. I love this. Thank you so much, Devin, for your very insightful conversation today.
Oh, I really appreciate this, Jenny. I had such a good time with you.
So we'll probably have to have you come back, some way and somehow. Okay, even if it could be like another interview online, or maybe you'll stop by Salt Lake City sometime. We'll do an in person. In addition,
I would love this. Oh my gosh.
of course, of course. All right, my wonderful Dance to Heal family. We'll see you next time. Bye bye. Thanks for listening to the Dance to Heal podcast with Jenny C. Cohen. Come back next time to hear stories of inspiring triumph and learn more ways that you can heal yourself. To work with me and continue your journey, visit danceandheal.com. Are you ready to move?